Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm Edison, and together
Together
we're
we're
Femmes
Femmes
React.
React.
Oh, I have a pimple. I had a pimple like this week, and they're still marked.
We're recording from our homes again today because the COVID situation is still happening. But that's how it is, 2020, you know. I hope everyone out there is staying safe. Hope you're doing well during these times if you're in lockdown. Today we're going to do our review of the 2020 BLs that have come out, specifically the ones we've watched. And they include Where Your Eyes Linger, Quaranthings, Mando, like in the movies, Hello Stranger.
Summer night.
What?
Summer night, remember?
No.
Cringy.
Oh, we're not. No. That's life. Senjou no Bokura. We were gonna do Cherry Magic, but we might do a separate video for that, and we might react to the last episode. So we might review the whole series because that's a special one. Together, I Told Sunset About You, and the kiss scene from Why Are You. We didn't watch Why Are You, but we'll do the kiss scene. So make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel to support us. And okay, so before we get started, I just want to put out a spoiler warning. We're going to talk about what happens in the show, so obviously, if you haven't watched it, just, and you don't want to get spoiled, just get past the parts where we talk about the show. Let's get started. So let's talk about Where Your Eyes Linger. Honestly, the best thing about that show, blurry. That song was so dramatic and so good. I loved it. Every time like something happened, they would play that song, and you would just get the feels. Yeah, what did you think of the show, Sam?
The mafia scene was really a bit out of nowhere, and I really particularly liked. I forgot his name.
Yeah, the bodyguard character.
The bodyguard.
You were really into him, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the mafia son was pretty attractive. Yeah, for some reason in Korean BLs, a lot of like mafia storylines, and I'm not sure why that's the case. We know Korea is pretty well known for their K-dramas, so we know Korea can do really good dramas. What I'm not sure is why their BLs have been lacking. They've got a lot of straight dramas, all these other dramas, and I'm like, where's your BL? Like, you can do it. Like, you've got really good quality of dramas. And I can't be bothered watching the straight ones, so like, give me some good BL dramas. This one was pretty good. I liked Where Your Eyes Lingered. So we're gonna watch 2 clips from Where Your Eyes Linger just to refresh our memory and see what happened. So the mafia son, he's like trying to teach his bodyguard how to flirt with girls. Actually, this was one of my favorite moments from the show.
Oh, really?
Yes, because the way he tugged at him was very spicy. The bodyguard. And he's like this.
Oh yeah, you like violent.
I don't like violence.
I don't find this part sexy at all.
Oh,
It's
okay.
okay.
And he's like, whoa. And it's like, blurry. So, in that bit, like, I think the chemistry is really on point. They had this relationship since they were children. This bodyguard mafia son relationship. But I feel like the bodyguard's been in love with the mafia son for quite some time. For me, the chemistry was like this sort of unspoken one where he was kind of like, you know I like you, right? Why are you leading me on, or why are you flirting with me? He does the ear touch thing where he strokes the bodyguard's ear. Like, and I feel like the bodyguard's like, you're taking this too far. Like, I don't want to fall in love.
The bodyguard's getting hard.
He's like, I don't want to fall in love with you. Why are you like turning me on? Like, and then he's like, stop it.
Yes,
I liked that. Another
You're
moment.
such a sub, Edison.
So this was another scene.
Oh yes, when he's sitting on top of his dick.
And then he's like, don't mess with me. Ugh. He doesn't believe him. He doesn't believe his feelings.
He doesn't want to admit his feelings for Senjou. I think he was trying to push him away.
Yeah, maybe like to test the genuineness of his feelings. Like, they have this very dependent relationship since they were kids. I think he's just being like, you don't really understand your feelings. Maybe he's really scared to kind of like finally get what he wants, that he's pushing it away. Where Your Eyes Linger was a really good quality BL, and they packed a lot in their sort of short episodes, which is really good. It was really bingeable. So yeah, I hope Korea does a few more BLs. We tried watching Wish You, but that was a bit like nothing happened in the first episode, and I was like, okay. And then we tried watching Mr. Heart, but I don't think that we caught on to that as well. But we're looking forward to more Korean BLs if there are any coming out next year. Okay, so we watched together at kind of the beginning of our sort of BL watching experience. So the quality of it at that point I enjoyed, but looking back, the storyline felt kind of messy. It was a pretty good BL that was carried by Sarawat's looks. Bright was a breakout because he was hot. He had this like sexy smolder going on every time he looked at Win. I'm not sure I liked how they treated Green, resident femme. Green started out as a stalker who wouldn't give up on Win no matter what. Green couldn't take no for an answer. And so they had to fake this boyfriend plotline so Green would stay away. And I'm just like, it's a bit far-fetched. Like, stereotype of the femme gay being a stalker, I'm not a big fan of. Like, it's not a stereotype, but it made Green really one-dimensional. I liked, you know, the group of side friends. I thought they were really good. And that was when we met Kao, who is Chun in Chonhon Tonglati. Something that I wasn't sure about was the kisses. There were more non-consensual kisses than there were consensual kisses. Like, most of the time, it was like Sarawat forced a kiss onto Win. For some reason, this BL seemed very, sanitized. Whenever Sarawat would sort of like come onto Win would always be like, no thanks. Like, Win was the RT of the couple. And he's like, oh no, I see your dick. Like, I see your, you know, morning glory. And he's like freaking out. And I'm like, dude, that's your boyfriend. Why are you moving in? Like, I did not sense the chemistry from Win's part. Like, why did you move in with him? Why did you love him? Why did you go from this, like, straight, like, guy who was, like, so into girls, and then suddenly you're, like, slowly into Bright? Like, that didn't really make sense in my head.
My opinion of this show is that it was just the ultimate queer baiting show that was ever released in 2020. There was no chemistry between our two male leads. And even the side characters, there was no chemistry.
You hated Drake so much.
Yeah, his eyebrows, the hairstyle, the fashion, everything about him was ugly.
But now you like Drake. Drake's had a bit of a blow up.
I think he's improved a lot. So I found him really cute nowadays. But in this show, I was like, no, who let you out the house? Something like this, you know.
What about Top Tap and Mike? So this is where they sort of got together as a couple that transitioned into Tonhon Chonlati. So Mike's storyline was a bit weird. He was like stalking Top Tap, right? Yeah. He like met him once, and then he's like, wow, I really need to find this guy again. And so he stalks him. Romantic, I don't know. But he eventually finds Top Tap. And then there's this like weird thing where...
Oh, this is where I don't like Top Tap's character. He became so mean and weary, and I just didn't like it. I like Top Tap being...
He was very adult. He was meant to be like the brother of Win. But there was this weird storyline where Top Tap was being pursued by his like company boss, and they're all at a dinner, and his company boss was making fun of Mike because Mike was like, all I have is youth and enthusiasm, not many plans for my future. But the whole company was like laughing at Mike, being like, you're a bit of a loser, sorry. And then ultimately Top Tap chose Mike, which was really sweet. Still not like entirely convinced about their sort of chemistry in that circumstance. And then the other things is like a domestic violence situation where we find out Green is afraid of Guy, his boyfriend, because he's like punching him or something. They get back together eventually, but I don't know what sort of resolution there was, and I don't know if that was like the smartest thing for Green. If I was Green, I would like never get back with someone if they hit me like once. So I feel like that situation wasn't dealt with, like it kind of was glossed over. So yeah, let's look at the most viewed clip on YouTube. Yeah, I feel like the series was carried because the two leads were extra hot, and that was the main appeal.
There's no chemistry between these two. They're just using this as a springboard for their careers.
They really felt like a bromance. Like even when they moved in together, I was like, you guys are in love? Like it just didn't really feel real.
No, none of it was real. like it didn't even show through their acting.
Even in the second season, when Sarawat goes away for band practice for like a week, Win is like crying because he misses Sarawat. And it's like, it's a week, dude.
But I like this dick on dicks.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'd
I don't
like
get it.
that Edison, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, of course, why wouldn't I?
Ah! This Top Tap is not a well-written character.
Bossy Top Tap. I mean, it's a cute side.
No, it's not. It's annoying. I'll kick him out of the house.
Here's your baby. It's Drake.
Oh my, look at that hair.
But I think Drake, you know, is meant to be this sort of like cool, badass.
Yeah, looking
Character.
so dag.
Well, he's kind of the villain. He has to put on a villainy
Look at
vibe.
that hairstyle and the eyebrows.
Look, the most unbelievable part of the plot for me was that everyone had a crush on Tyne. They were all fighting for Tyne. But Sarawat is clearly the hottest guy on campus. Green was after Tyne. Drake was after Tyne. What about Sarawat? Hello, guys. This is a part which I liked in the show. Then Tyne, like, I need you. See, this is cute, right? I actually like this bit. And the way he kind of pulls Tyne onto it. So good.
It's alright for me. This whole show is just alright.
There were some cute moments. Like, this is one of their cute moments where I can sort of like get lost a little bit in the fantasy. Anytime Sarawat's like, be with me, sleep with me, showing some sort of cutesy emotion, I'm like, this is great.
I'm just fantasizing, projecting a fantasy.
I'm projecting, yeah, I project all the time. That's what
Yeah.
Bill's for. No one could sleep like that. I would be so uncomfortable.
No.
So that was... We were a bit harsh on Together. Sorry. I know it was really popular,
It was the most generic BL.
but Sarah was really hot, so...
Doily cape.
What an icon! So iconic. This femme doily jacket denim cape thing is amazing.
Oh my god.
Look at
so
it just
gay.
swaying. Oh,
It's heat.
so femme. Femmes.
So femme.
We bow down to pee-pee as
It's so
femmes.
campy and gay.
So I Told Sunset About You. Really one of the best BLs, one of the best directed, one of the best casted, great acting, great cinematography, great soundtrack, just like mwah, 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 across the board. So good. If you haven't watched it, you have to watch it. I Told Sunset About You, one of the best BLs ever. Let's talk about it quickly, because we did talk about it in our reaction video. To be honest, I think episode 2 and 3 were my favorite episodes. Episode 4 and 5 kind of
Not
fell
really.
off a little
Oh, actually,
bit.
episode 5 was my favorite with Hood in it. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Oh, my bias Hood.
Okay,
What can I
Hoon
say?
was great. For me in episode 5, I didn't really understand the journey with Bilkins being concerned about dating a guy to finally being at ease with it. Maybe it was Hoon telling him everything would be okay. If you're sort of in that situation, you kind of owe the other person a bit more explanation. Instead of being like, you know, these were the reasons why I wasn't sure about dating you before, but now, you know, I come to the realization that blah blah blah. Like, instead he was just like, okay, now let's be boyfriends.
I mean, episode 1 had really good chemistry. I felt like, you know, that's when it drew me into watching the show. Leads, you know, PP and Bilkin. I was like so into them. I think my favorite was number 1.
Oh really? The one with
Yeah.
the background and the child.
Yeah, I really like
Cool
when they
story.
explain the backstory and the child. And I thought, even though, you know, it was very a fight, you know, it's like, you know, they were very dumb, but that's what teenagers fight over. So I felt like it was in character and made sense logically, and really enjoyed watching PP and Bilkin in episode 1, 2, and 3. But then I think when they did the underwater kiss scene, that's when it felt a bit too fantastical. You know, it was just like a bit on the fantasy side because it was so real from 1, 2, 3. When
Just
they
don't
did the
believe people could kiss underwater for so long.
No, you can't. You would like swallow seawater and it tastes disgusting. Like from a drama transition into being an anime. And I was like,
I didn't mind
okay.
it. I think they could have done more kissing.
On land.
Yeah,
yes,
on land.
please.
But I think the underwater thing was obviously it was symbolic that Bilkins could finally be himself when no one was watching. It was like this other world sort of concept. Episode 2 was my favorite because that was when everything felt so raw and unspoken. It was the beginning where they were expressing that they had feelings for each other without expressing it. The start of jealousy where Bilkins was like, why did you tell them something that you only told me? That was really good. I was like, I feel that. Like, I get that insecurity when I'm like...
That was really good. Yeah.
I thought we were close to that. Yes. And then you're kind of like treating me as a friend. Like, you just kind of overthink everything. Like, that felt so authentic.
And also, like, the scene where PP was... I think that was episode 2, right? When PP went over to study with Bar. And he was asking Bilkin for advice, and then that scene was great. That was top notch.
The thigh touching was so good.
And then sending it over to Bilkin, like I thought that was hilarious.
And then Bilkins does the annoying thing, which is a passive aggressive. I'm gonna do like a vague Instagram story where I'm like. I love my girlfriend. Okay, so this is one of my favorite parts of episode 3 on the whole show. Is when PP has his sort of like casual kind of intimate chemistry with Bilkins. He's coming towards Bilkins. This was iconic for me. You can't teach this to...
It felt like he wanted
everyone
to eat his cock. That's what the subtext was, you know. You wish this was your cock.
Oh. Actually true, yeah. Okay, we can't talk about IToldSunsetAboutYou without going into this scene. This is where they kind of like... They've acknowledged their feelings for each other, but Bilkins is like, I don't know how to progress. But Pepe's like, you know, I want to be with you.
They didn't even kiss in this show. What a pity.
I kissed underwater.
That's not the kiss that I want, okay? Right now with salt in your mouth.
Bilkins' stare, his slight eyebrow twitch. It's so good.
I don't know about this part, man.
It's good. It's good because they want to be close, but they don't know.
You.
They don't have to go straight for the D. Like, it's...
Thank you. Next. I'm pretty sure you go straight for D. I'm pretty sure they, like, you know, give me some passion and lust.
This is so lustful. You don't always have to go for the D. You have the rest of the body to explore.
I'm pretty sure the D is an important part of it.
Okay, so we know where Sam's priorities are at.
Without the D, it just doesn't interest me.
So yeah, let us know your favorite moment from IToldSunsetAboutYou. Okay, so the next show we actually haven't watched. I'm just putting it in here as a little bonus. And this is Why Are You? We tried watching the first few episodes, but they were just a bit slow. I wasn't sure what was going on. It was so generic. It was just like a university thing.
But I'm glad Saint's doing something different from Love by Chance.
And Love by Chance, like, he was so submissive, so passive. I hated his character. Like, he was just like, crap. It was like, he was a Pokemon who was called crap. Side note, we tried watching Waterboy. When we watched Sodus, me and Sam thought New/M was pretty attractive. I think Sam had a bit of a crush on New, right?
Yes, in the past.
In the past. Okay. And so when we discovered Waterboy, we were like, okay, this is great. They're shirtless, Top Cat makes a little bit of a show.
Speedos all the time.
Right? Fun is in it from Lovesick, so you know, that's a bonus. So we were like, Waterboy, okay. We tried watching it a little bit slow, and so we were like, cut to the kiss scene. Let's see what this is about. I looked in the YouTube comments and it was like, this is the best kiss in BL history. And maybe the show's a bit old, but we watched the kiss scene and...
We no longer like New. I have no comment. I just don't like New anymore.
Look, the kiss scene from New and Earth in Waterboy to Why Are You is probably leagues apart. New just reminded me of a dead fish. They were kind of just mashing their lips, and I don't feel like New was really
With no
committing.
chemistry. Felt like they were just eating each other's lip.
We didn't watch Why Are You, but this is how you should do a kiss scene. Like, when I saw Saint in this, I was like, wow, Saint. Where was this in Love by Chance?
Do you like Saint here?
I like Saint here. I think Saint's pretty cute here.
You're like, Saint's not hot in Love by
Saint
Chance. I was like,
was
he
not hot in
pretty
Love by
good
Chance.
looking. He was cute.
Just based on his personality. He was just like this little frog who could only say crap. And I was like, dude, you're so boring.
Yeah, but when talking about his looks, I remember clearly that you didn't like it.
Yeah, but looks and personality for me are kind of influence each other a little bit. Okay, if this was a normal BL, we would just cut there. We would just be like, that's it. That's the end of the episode.
If only Gong Pop and Artie did this in Sodas.
Oh my god, so many BLs would be so much better if they did this. Humbub and RT, what did they do? I don't even know. Not one kiss scene. A continuous kiss scene. Into another.
Oh, such good teams. Where'd you buy?
Lube.
Strap. I don't know.
Strap on. Condom.
A vibrator.
Everything.
Yeah. A whip.
Why can't more BLs be like this? I know we didn't watch Why Are You? Like,
Oh, I should have gone for the dip.
how many times have they kissed? Like, they've kissed more than Compot and RT have kissed in the whole series.
More than all the BLs
All the
we've watched
BLs.
combined.
What commitment. I am applauding their commitment to this role. What an inspiration.
This is going above and beyond your role. You ready? Kelly, can you handle this?
Oh, Michelle.
Michelle, can you handle this?
Beyonce,
Beyonce, can you handle this?
I don't think you can handle
You
this.
can handle this.
Woo! That was.
Kissing.
Why are you? Okay, I don't even know if that was a kissing. That was more like a steamy sex scene.
Yeah.
But look, we have this sort of like grievance, right? Or a theory that some of these BL actors are doing BL to get famous,
Yeah.
so they can move on to more mainstream TV roles or shows. Which is perfectly like fine. But if you do, yeah, if you do that, do what these guys are doing. Like, we don't mind if you're just using us gays for popularity and for fame and money. Just give us what we want. Or just a little bit. Like, don't pretend to kiss if you're gonna use BL as a platform.
New and Ash.
Don't just go, I'm not committing. I'm doing like one season, one show, 2 shows, then I'm off. But anyways, thank you, Saints. Thank you, Z. That was really good. So, live Senjou no Bokura, or I think it's like Love on the Line. We binge watched this after we finished watching the movie Do. So we were like, oh my god, we have such a bad taste in our mouth. We have to find something quickly to rinse it out before we can go to bed, or else we'll feel so uneasy. I didn't mind it. I liked it a lot, actually, because the storyline wasn't generic. It kind of like spanned it over their sort of entire lifetime. And it was really interesting kind of watching that sort of 17 to adulthood journey. And it was something I hadn't seen before in a BL, and it felt kind of mature and it felt really real, because the whole storyline was one of the guys wanted to try and live a normal married life, which I feel like a lot of people in Japan and China do. So it felt pretty realistic to me. I really liked sort of the idea of the characters, how they were both sort of like a bit odd and kind of like kooky. One of them was like, I can't get off this line. And the other was like...
Yeah, they were on the
same sort of
line.
And they kept meeting. But, you know, other people watching them would be like, you're a bit
what a weirdo.
But both of them were kind of like really like into it. The whole sort of like fantasy and the game that they created with each other. And I thought that was really so sweet, like really sincere. And it was really, really cute that they could share that and not kind of feel like judged for it from each other. Like they could be themselves. And they split apart when one of them was kind of more like, I need to become an adult. I need to think about what living in society is more like. But the other was kind of like, I just want to stay myself. So I thought that was a really interesting dynamic. And then we're just gonna react to the end of the last episode, because this is when it all kind of gets a bit more fantastical. Like they meet in this other country under the Aurora Borealis again after being split apart for so many years, and it's just like, how did you guys find each other? He was searching for his ex, who he split up with and couldn't contact, and he's like, I'll come to this place maybe to kind of like mourn the relationship, with the secret hope of finding him. And it's just so unbelievable. Because it's love, it's magic, you know. It's under the frickin' Northern Lights.
Oh, I found this part romantic. I was like, oh yeah, they always said they wanted to go.
Yeah.
It was set up from the start, from episode 1.
Okay, but at this time of year, and this part of my kitchen, like, how did they find each other? It was just a bit much. It was like crazy. Oh, and then they had this coming out bit, which was pretty good. Because his sister wanted to marry like a foreigner, and his mum was like, no. But then he was like, I'm gay. And then his mum was like shocked. But it was like also like really great because he finally like came out. It was kind of like, you know, screw Japanese conservative traditions, you know, getting in the way of someone's right to love.
Yeah, I liked how it was different from all the other people.
Yeah, Japan has some of the most original BLs.
The episodes were 10 minutes long.
And then they play this song. It's just such an epic song. It feels like you've lived a whole life through that song.
Such an epic song. I love the OSTs.
It really like brings the whole kind of show like up 10 notches. Like. Okay, so next we're gonna talk about the Filipino BLs that we watched, starting with Quaranthings. Oh, how do we transition to Quaranthings?
Rocky's dick.
No! I liked, you know, how they had a femme, Judah, as one of the main leads. I loved the Philippines for their commitment to representation. You know, the 3 shows, Mando, they had Alex Diaz as the bisexual, Gaya Sa Pelikula, Paolo, who is out and queer, and Judah is queer as well. So Philippines has some really great things going on in terms of casting people of queer representation in their leads, so I really applaud that. For me, the character of Judah I had a few issues with how, you know, when he thought Rocky was straight, he was like, let me court you. Like, I was like, that's a bit much. Like, I guess it's part of the plot, but like, and then Rocky was like, no, that makes me uncomfortable. And then Judah was like, it's not like you'll like it anyways. I felt like Judah was a bit forceful at that point. And then Judah also uploaded pictures of Rocky to a secret Twitter account. And so I'm like, Judah, why do you have to be so problematic sometimes?
Creepy.
Yeah. Otherwise, Judah seems like, you know, a really cool character. They liked AOC, who, you know, is the best person ever. For me, the whole show was a bit boring.
I thought it was enjoyable. Like, it wasn't too terrible. I wasn't bored.
Spoil na bata?
Ikaw tong childish yung reaction eh. Paano ko yung bata?
Kailangan talaga lagi kami sagot?
Ang OA mo kasi? 2020 na?
Yep.
Gender
Gender is fluid. Homophobia is so outdated.
Ano ba?
I don't know if that was, that's your guys' favorite lines from the show, but that was our favorite line. I was skipping to the lovemaking scene in episode 4.
They didn't really kiss.
Yeah, they didn't really kiss. I had an issue with that.
Rocky did much more in his indie movie.
Okay, let's not talk too much about it. So I'm like, why aren't you kissing? He's like doing a lot of like neck rubbing, but there's no really lip on lip. I guess this is meant to be saucy. And to be fair, it's a lot more than we would ever get out of normal Thai BL. So we applaud you for doing this in episode 4. Like, surely it is quite there. But it's still no kissing, it's just more like rubbing and
Tumbling.
and kind of just like nuzzling his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, we don't have that many opinions. It was an okay show. It wasn't like mind-blowing.
Yeah. Barbie Imperial.
Barbie Imperial. Such a great name. Alex Diaz.
Yeah.
What a babe. Okay, so Mando was a pretty good show. I think it was pretty good quality. The name Barbie Imperial is incredible. Okay, so we really liked the sort of storybook fantasy fairy tale element. They really committed to that and used it as like an allegory or a metaphor for Amando's inner turmoil about his sexuality. So he's like this Rapunzel character in this tower, and he's like, oh, I want to date Barbie, but I also love this Prince Charming. That was really cute. Alex Diaz, great casting. Sam really enjoyed some moments when Alex was in those tights.
Yeah.
and Alex was swimming. And I think the story of the show was a lot of fun. There was a lot of camp. Kukoi is really great at being this comedic, like over-the-top character when he's like crying or eating fish balls. It was just fun to watch. But, you know, at some point in the story, after the sex scene, it was like, you're the man of my dreams that I've been seeing. And I'm like, what? Like, they made it over cliche, over romantic. It was too cheesy. Like, I would get lactose intolerance from all that cheese. Like, I don't even know. It was a bit much. I think there were 2 issues that we had throughout the show. At the beginning, the femme character, Kokoi's friend, when they met Alex and his friends, who was like, pretty much like, let's make friends with them, and once we're friends with them, let's get them drunk. And once they're drunk, we'll pounce on them. And so I'm like, why are you giving, you know, this line to the femme character, the femme gay character? It was a bit like, we don't need to keep portraying them as predatory. Like, that's unnecessary to me.
Those are all predators.
Like, come on.
They are all predators in the BL world.
And then the other issue, I think, you know, that they were doing this play for Romeo and Juliet, and the teacher for the play came out as trans, but they
kept calling her Mister.
They didn't use the appropriate pronouns until, you
She
know,
corrected them.
so it was kind of like a bit confusing why they kept misgendering them at that point.
Even I felt like the subplot about the mom was redundant.
Oh, the lesbian mom. I didn't. I kind of liked the representation of having a lesbian.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was just not a very well written subplot. It just felt like it was pushed into the show to push the story forward.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't written that well. Like, felt a bit clunky at times.
So Barry, so dreamy, such a great face. Okay, so this kiss scene doesn't look like they actually lock lips.
Oh, they did kiss.
They're just kind of like mushing their lips on their chins or like whatever.
I don't understand why they didn't do a kiss.
Yeah, there's so many
For
shows
TV
where
production.
they haven't done proper kiss scenes, and I'm like, why not? I'm very confused by this pattern. It's not a great pattern. So this is the part where I thought it was a bit cheesy.
Hindi na ako nananaginip. Kayong lalaki sa panaginip ko.
He's like, you're the one I've been seeing in my dreams. And he's like, what?
Yung lalaki sa tore. Ikaw yan. Lalaki mo kapal talaga sa akin. Yung pareho tayo ng panaginip.
You mean we were having the same dreams? Wait, you have the same dream?
Ano sa panaginip mo ba?
Yeah, this was a bit unbelievable. I get that they were trying to piece
Di kita makilala dahil
fantasy
nakamaskara ka.
with reality. But I just thought it wasn't that well written.
Yeah, that scene kind of took me out of it. It's like, I get this sort of idea where love is like really magical, but that was just like a bit too far for me. Overall, we enjoyed the show. Mando was great. Really entertaining. I think the quality was great. The writing was great, except for that bit.
Maybe it's fate that we can control. Around and around it goes.
So, Gaya Sa Pelikula, another show with a queer lead, which was really great. Thank you, Paolo. This was one of the really popular ones that came out. So, the Philippines this year have released a crazy amount of BLs. We've tried to watch a few, like Boys Lockdown and Ben and Jim, and we kind of dropped them after like the first 2 episodes. Gaya Sa Pelikula leagues above the rest of them in terms of quality. I thought there was some really good writing. Pacing kind of like dropped in a few episodes, so Sam got really bored. Actually,
You're just projecting your fantasies onto Paolo. I felt like the writing was not that great at all. I was bored from the first episode.
for the first episode,
Yeah.
Oh my
and
God.
until like Judith was saying some silly.
you were like so obsessed with Ian. You were like, what a great face, what a cute face.
Yeah, I was until I watched the story and I was like, no.
I really liked the episode where they kind of watched a movie at the start, and it was kind of metaphoric to these 2 guys going off into a place where no one could see them or knew them, and where they could be themselves. And so later in the episode they have this blackout, but Ian and Paolo are dancing for like this fake school prom. And they get to be intimate and almost kiss before the lights come back on, so I thought that was such a great moment. Another bit I really liked about the show was the ending sequences, how they kept updating them in terms of how their relationship was progressing. So every end of the episode they would get closer and closer. That was so cute. Made you feel really close to the characters and really intimate. Their chemistry throughout, I didn't feel it a great amount, unfortunately. Like the chemistry to me didn't resonate with me.
But yeah, for me it was at 0.
Oh,
From the start to finish. Like, I don't understand. I'm just like watching 2 bros kissing each other. They really need to pick leads who feed off on each other's energy. Look at Bilkin and Pee-Pee. Like, you know, I feel like you need to have chemistry.
look, the leads were
ultimately.
so attractive. Like, well done on that casting. There have been
Yeah.
so many Filipino BLs I didn't even trust. This will sound so bad because the leads were not cute. Okay, this is probably one of the best moments of the show, obviously.
I am in no place to judge. The boy is cute. Public is your kink, which is totally fine.
I love how, like,
We all have
open-minded she's trying to appear.
We're in a safe space.
We're in a safe space.
I am an ally of your community.
Okay.
Repeat
Repeat after
after
me.
I
I
am valid.
am valid. Valid.
You are
You.
valid.
You are valid.
You are.
What a quality moment.
Great scene.
Okay, this is one of my favorite scenes. It's when Paolo kind of gets more accepting of himself and he kind of lets go and he embraces his femininity through dance, and it's such a cute moment. He dances like how I used to dance in the club, just like really femme, arms in the air, twirling, spinning, these arms, this choreography.
Yes.
This twirling, so good. I applaud Paolo for all this dancing. I don't know why, but this song feels kind of Irish to me as well. So in episode 5, they almost kiss, but the lights come on. And so at the start of the episode, Paolo's like, what are you talking about? We didn't almost kiss. And he's like, you don't want to talk about it? But now he's sort of finally coming to grips with it. And then they kiss. And it's quite a good kiss, I feel like. And a long kiss, you know, in some BLs they're just kind of like,
I think this part is more Irish.
This heart is so hard. They should have just started river dancing.
They should have done.
I would have loved that.
I just wish Ian was more committed in his role. Because it felt very bro-ish sometimes watching him. That's what turned me off.
Oh, okay. But this kiss was quite good. I
Yeah.
really liked it. And I actually, now we're watching this, I really liked all of Paolo's little quirks that he brought to the character. I don't know if this was part of the character or that he brought in himself, but him like dipping in chips and him also sometimes doing like...
Bring it in the Coke? That's
Yeah.
weird to me.
No, but I really like all this quirkiness that he adds to the character. And then he like sometimes does this like Naruto hand seal thing. He does that sometimes. I feel like it's just really cute. So there's a line in the last episode that Sam really hates.
Did something that was a big no-no in storytelling. It was like show, don't tell. And I felt like that line was like tell, don't show. Which I hated so much. And I just felt like, look, no one says that in real life. Not even in the Philippines.
So that was the line you hated. I don't want to be silent about my love. I've done that enough.
Yeah.
I want to be out there.
Deserve it.
I don't want to be silent about my love. That's the line I hated. I felt like they should be right. That was so cringe.
I kind of get what you're saying.
If you said it in Tagalog, I wouldn't have hated it as much. But like in English, it just sounded so wacky. When we had a conversation about this, and I said something along the lines like, "If you want to love me, claim me." Like, you know, that's a better line.
True, like
silence.
That's a good point because it felt very artificial, that line. Like it felt like it didn't feel natural to me. Yeah. I kind of get like what he was saying. Like he was trying to
I understood what the message was.
Yeah.
But it was just the delivery didn't work. You know, that line in particular needed to be rewritten.
Like the show was really great for representation. Overall, the quality was really good. Some of the writing was really good, I have to say. Maybe not the dialogue, but some sort of more of the storytelling methods in some bits. And you know, Ian and Paolo are such big cuties, so
yes, very, very beautiful looking people. Oh, look at Miko.
Miko
totally my
looks
babe.
so good here, but in the show, he was such a dork, and I was not feeling
You
it.
hated Miko, and I was like, he looks fucking hot. Like, what are you talking about?
I just did not feel it. That tie, that hair, I was just like, dude, it's not doing you any favors. You know how we were talking about the chemistry between Ian and Paolo? This show had so much chemistry between Miko and Xavier. Like, the acting was so good, the casting was so on point, and Sam was in love with Miko pretty much.
I'm sorry, Tony, I love you too, but Miko has my heart.
Format was really cute, like, because it was in quarantine, they had to do everything through video talks. The episode lengths weren't that long, and I will say this for Hello Stranger, it packed so much into those short episodes. You kind of wonder why the Thai BLs are just so long and full of kind of like fluff. The emotion of Miko, his acting was so on point. It felt so raw. His crying was great. His anguish and his dorkiness it felt really real. Xavier, like he was more new to acting in the first episode, but he really got into it.
Yeah, I think really the chemistry really carried him.
Realistically, I would not believe that someone like Xavier, like a jock, Tony would fall in love with someone like Miko, like this nerdy kid. But it works. Like I was into the fantasy. Like I got brought into it. I was whisked away. I think Hello Stranger is so underrated. This show had some great like cinematography. We got some really good shots of Xavier. Like
yes.
So in this scene, so it's great thighs. So in this scene, they're watching each other sleep, which I think was so cute because they're having a video call. They're just hanging out. They've got their computers next to each other, and Miko is gay panicking.
Yes, Daddy.
Like for the limitations of the COVID and having them had to film separately, this was so well done. Like they stitched everything together so well. This was so cute. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Just like watching each other but missing each other's gaze is, I don't know, it's so good. And now he's pretending to sleep after watching him, and it was just like, now Xavier's kind of like checking him out. Oh my god. That point of view as well is just like, that smolder, oh my god. We're just watching him sleep. Oh, so good.
So insane.
And this music, I really like this music throughout the show.
Nababasa ako.
That's cheeky. cheeky. cheeky freaking look. Oh, Miko.
It's so great.
So good.
So
and then this stitch together. Okay, so this next scene is Xavier sings to Miko, which was really cute.
It makes me feel
Like, I think
Aw.
Xavier wrote a song about Miko,
nothing
right?
else matters.
I know, yeah, he
You're
did.
happy.
And this editing, getting
Yeah.
Miko like feeling like he's actually in there is so
Okay.
good. Cause they didn't do that. It used to be like separate, and then finally kind of like blending them together. Such a great
Yeah.
technique.
Malapit na nga akong mabingi sa mga napupunan nila.
And look at all these like micro gestures in Miko's face, where he's kind of like getting moved. He's such a great actor.
I think he plays like the shy boy really well. Yeah, this felt really genuine.
Natin.
Even this laughing, you're like, did you script that? Is this real? Like,
Probably improv.
and the way Miko's looking at him is just like, it gets to you. It's like buttering your heart up. Just-
Thank you.
What a pure bean. What a pure bean Miko is.
Kanina malambapin lang. Totoo.
Remember how much you hated him?
I did not hate Miko. I just did not find him attractive in his nerdy getup
Ganda.
in the first couple of episodes.
For somebody who's
Really
Special
special
to
to me.
Para kanino?
Oh my god, the way Xavier looks at the camera.
eh di para sa'yo.
Nababasa ako.
Okay. The scene we're watching is the final scene.
Hello, Savior.
Louis Xavier.
Hello, Miko.
And they play this song again, and it's so good. And then Xavier's like, come here.
Yeah, that was disappointing. I wish they had done this differently.
Okay, a hug is good, a hug is nice. I'm like, okay, alright, we're getting there. They're gonna kiss, right? They finally get to be together. Wiping away his
Nababasa
tears,
ako.
looking outside. And...
Oh, yeah.
the
It's so
anticipation
good.
is building.
It's so good.
And then...
You two love each other.
the only fault we can have on this show is that they didn't kiss at the end. So like, what
That's it,
BL...
that's it.
it has no kiss. Like, even despite that, it's still a really great BL. I think everyone watching that was like baited into thinking that they were gonna kiss instead of just a hug. And I feel so sad that we won't get to see the day that those two
Aw.
get to consummate their relationship. Okay, anyways, that was all the BLs that we watched that were released in 2020. Sorry if you didn't see a BL that you watched and you wanted us to discuss. Maybe you didn't have the time to get around to it, or we might have just thought it was kind of boring. So sorry about it. We did try
engineer.
we did try my engineer. So these are just our opinions about the shows we just watched. I know people really love them, and you know, sorry if we said something that you disagreed with. Let us know your comments, your opinions, what you thought of the shows as well, what you thought of the BLs that came out this year, maybe what you're looking forward to next year. I know that there are so many BLs coming out next year. I'm looking forward to part 2 of I Told Sunset About You and Tale of 1,000 Stars. We were kind of waiting for that. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our channel, like this video, comment your thoughts. Have a happy new year and happy holidays.
閉ざされたまま語るように枯れた頬を指でなそうたこぼれそうなほどに泣いていた夢の炎に濡れ愛になるなら孤独くらむこともできない窓に映る口で好みで
Bye!
君には